Okay, so there's one plant that everybody has to know if you're going to go out into the field, and that's called poison ivy. And that's what I'm pointing to right here. Poison ivy is not in flower now. In fact, is a woody plant, and we're going to be studying woody plants in the second half of class. But I always teach students poison ivy during our first class session, so you can be aware of it and know when you're venturing into it. Poison ivy um, contains a secondary chemical compound called urushiol, and that urushiol, when it gets on your skin, can cause dermatitis or a rash on some people. Some people do not get that rash, other people get it really bad. Some people, as with most allergies, and you can think of it as an allergy, can develop it over time. I initially never got poison ivy, and now I do, so I have to be very careful. Poison ivy grows as a ground cover and as a vine, and when it grows as a vine, it tends to have little hairs coming out of the stem to help itself attach to whatever it's growing on, although we don't really see those here. Uh, the main characteristic of poison ivy that everybody knows is that it has leaves in three. So poison ivy, when we think about a poison ivy leaf like this one right here, we're actually talking about one leaf, and uh, this leaf has three leaflets. So poison ivy, each leaf has three leaflets. It's not the only thing that has three leaflets, but it has a number of other characteristics that will help you distinguish it from other things. Wild strawberries, for example, have three leaflets. In fact, this plant right here that I'm touching behind the fence has three leaflets per leaf, and this is a box elder, a very different plant, and I am touching it, so you know that it's not poison ivy. Poison ivy, one of the characteristics, I also already said it's woody. It grows as a ground cover and a vine. Um, tends to have dark leaves, but the main characteristic in its vegetative state is that it is tremendously variable. It has a great deal of variation in its leaf shape and toothing. So you can see here, question that the one leaflet that I'm pointing to now, does that have one, two, three teeth? Or does it have two teeth and one lobe? Or does it have three lobes? The difference between a tooth and a lobe is a matter of degree, and one grades into the other. So I would say that that has one lobe and two teeth. Poison ivy never has fine teeth. It always has coarse teeth, if it has teeth at all. Sometimes it does not have teeth, but it has a very different look to it. Each leaf, poison ivy leaves are kind of like snowflakes. There's no two that are exactly alike. So you want to look around for this type of variation. If you see over here, this other leaf, which is part of the same plant, it's growing off the same stem, has very different toothing, very different shape and overall aspect to it than the leaf next to it. So tremendous amount of variation. The box elder leaves will all look pretty much like this, and one of the reasons that I knew it was a box elder leaf is because the leaves are opposite on the stem in box elder, and in poison ivy the leaves are alternate on the stem. There's one last characteristic of poison ivy that helps you identify it, and forgive me, but it gives you the finger. The buds, the vegetative buds, look like an extended middle finger, telling you to leave me alone. We're going to look around, see if we can get a good shot of that, but you can tell that it's poison ivy because of that. I see one back there that we'll take a picture of. Poison ivy is a native plant. It is a relatively cosmopolitan plant, which means it'll grow pretty much everywhere. So wherever you go, you're likely to find poison ivy. It is also a plant that is dioecious, which means it has separate male and female plants. So on one plant, it will have nothing but female flowers, and those will be the plants that produce the berries. And another plant will have nothing but male flowers, and this time of year you won't see any reproductive parts left on it. So that's what dioecious means, separate male and female. Just like animals, humans in particular, are bilaterally symmetrical. Humans are a dioecious species, and most animal species are dioecious. Although most plants, or many plants, have perfect flowers or have separate male and female flowers that are on the same plant. So plants in that way are hermaphroditic or bisexual.